Hello and welcome to Nights at the Game Table. We're here at Pat's Games in Austin, Texas. I'm Kevin.
I'm Arya.
And today we're going to be taking you through a trailer breakdown for the Guilds of Ravnica trailer that's online right now.
To keep up to date with everything at Nights at the Game Table, all you have to do is click subscribe and then hit that tiny little notification button next to it, so every time we upload a new video, YouTube will be sure to let you know.
Arya, start us off. What's going on?
Well, first thing I would just like to say is I think they've improved these trailers enormously. They started doing them a few years back, and they weren't always the best. But I think as they've gone forward, like this one I think is really good. Because if I didn't know anything about Magic and I just turned this on, I could definitely understand that there's guilds fighting each other, which is the main storyline of Ravnica. And they do a great job of communicating that just with visuals in a 1-minute trailer.
So we're starting out with, I need to tell you a secret that will change Ravnica forever.
Of course. And who is telling the secret? The one guild that cares the most about secrets?
Dimir.
House of Dimir, yes. So Dimir is like the secret guild. They're literally a guild that's not, I believe they're still an unofficial guild. They are not considered an official guild of Ravnica. They're spies, informants, and they kind of are the ones who do all the back alley deals, you know.
The whole point in a secret guild is that it's a secret guild.
Exactly.
Don't admit to it. There's this LARP game I played in the UK where someone walked in and said, okay, everyone hands up if you're in a secret guild. And everyone who put their hands up got immediately ejected from their secret guild.
Yeah, that doesn't quite work. No. The Dimir are trying to avoid exactly that. Yeah. But the Lazav, who's the head of the Dimir, at the very beginning of this trailer, he says, I need to tell you a secret that will change Ravnica forever. We don't know what it is, but it's probably pretty good.
Then we've got The Land Cries Out, which is coming in over one of the Selesnya cards.
Yeah, so the land, animals, nature, that's really the realm of the Selesnya, which is green and white. That's why even when you see humans in the Selesnya Guild, cards that are human, that'll be like a human knight, they're often riding an animal of some kind because Selesnya are at one with nature. That's kind of their goal there. So when you say the land cries out, to me that indicates that the Selesnya are noticing there's something afoot, like there's something wrong with the land around them. So I think that's kind of a cool.
And then with the disinformation campaign in the background, we've got we have eyes everywhere.
Right, so now we're flipping back to Dimir, right? Because Dimir are the spies who in the gigantic city of guilds, which Ravnica is, I guess it's kind of like LA or something. It's like a gigantic city, which, you know, the Dimir are the ones who are hiding behind every corner, learning all the secrets. So,
and it feels like they're the players in this story, the Dimir, right?
Yeah.
They know something's up and they're influencing it.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's kind of interesting because I think in previous Ravnicas, they were sort of like a little bit of a afterthought when it came to the main guilds. But in this one, it really seems like Lazav, who's the head of Dimir, and the Dimir are really guiding the way that the storyline is going to go.
And speaking of Lazav, he's up next listening to Imara, and we don't hear what he says here. This is deliberately indistinguishable.
I think they put that in there on purpose because the Dimir, there's always supposed to be like a secret element. So all we know is that Lazav, who's the head of the Dimir, is having some kind of a conversation with Imara, who's the head of Selesnya, but we don't know what it's about.
And the card we see there is Vicious Rumors, which has got the flavor text, the alliances were already frayed. All we need to do is find the loose threads and pluck.
Right, so
definite whole thing going on here.
Yeah, it's definitely a hint that whatever the Dimir are doing is probably not to the benefit of the other guilds. Let's put it that way.
Right. Lines are being drawn as we speak.
So who, out of all of these guilds we have in the first here, who draws lines the most?
The Boros.
The Boros, yeah. The Boros, so Boros is red-white. Boros is the guild of war, of armies. That's why you have, you know, like Legion War Boss, it's in the name. So they are the ones who are trying to sort of draw a battlefield, like we are going to fight on this battlefield, we are going to see our opponent, we will defeat them. The problem is, are the Dimir that kind of opponent?
Maybe not so much.
Not so much. So that's the thing, is that the Boros are an army who's trained to fight someone, you know, hand-to-hand combat. The Dimir are more of a backroom dealing kind of bunch, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
And Selesnya clearly don't have a clue. Whose side are you on?
We don't know. We don't know. We are not sure.
Then we have Niv Mizzet looking in his reflection, and you control the city.
Yeah, well, Niv Mizzet is probably the most important character in Ravnica. He is my favorite, just because if you look at like old, lore of dragons, the dragons are supposed to be very smart, and it's something that gets lost a lot of the time in newer adaptations of things with dragons. But dragons are always supposed to be the most intelligent beings, and in Magic, I think they do such a good job of painting Niv Mizzet as the previous one was called Draco Genius. That he's like a genius dragon who's invented all of this technology they use in Ravnica.
Moving on, we've got a Legion Guild Mage, we've got Devious Cover-Up, and then an image of Severed Strands. Death is just the next step.
Yeah, so Death is just the next step. That's the Golgari, because they're the Green-Black Guild, and they are the ones who, in the mechanics of gameplay, care about graveyards, and in the sort of lore and story, are able to return beings from the dead. So a great example is their shockland is called Overgrown Tomb, where it's like there's a dead body or some kind of like graveyard element going on, but there's also a growth happening too. So that's sort of where their mentality is. But we don't really see in the trailer, they don't really explain how they're relating to this business with Dimir very much at all, do they?
Death is just the next step, but you first.
Yeah, so
like you do the dying bit, I'll do the growing bit for a little while longer.
Yeah, we're going to see, one of the kind of secrets of this trailer is that we do see other guilds interacting. We see Boros fighting and interacting. We see Izzet interacting with other guilds. But Golgari, it seems like it's a little more, hidden as to what their agenda is going to be.
And then we got the Swath Cutter Giant, the Kral Swarm. It's all kicking off right there. Another of those cards has some interesting flavor text. The Hive has a long memory. It knows how every member ever died and to whom it owes the grudge.
Right, so that would be another one when you're thinking about a swarm and you're talking about death. Which one are we talking about here? Very Golgari. Yeah, they're the ones who are sort of interested in this combination between life and death and trying to figure out how to sort of use their mystical elf zombie powers to to affect the future of Ravnica. But it's all very mysterious with them. The two most mysterious out of this group are definitely Dimir and Golgari.
So this is where it gets really interesting coming around to the end now. We're back to the image of Vicious Rumors, and we see Amara's eyes turn from green to black.
Yeah, the very end of this trailer, it has a couple things. One is you do see a little bit of Izzet with a few different like contraptions and some sort of like technology. It's a little hard.
It's like a rocket pack goblin.
Yeah, it's a goblin on a rocket pack.
Across the...
It goes by real fast, but there is a little bit more Izzet in there just towards the end of some of those contraptions and some of those inventions, probably by Niv Mizzet. But then the very end, the last part of the trailer is Amara's. Lazav is still speaking into Amara's ear, and her eyes change from green to black. What does that mean? I don't know.
Probably not good.
Well, I mean, it's probably not good for Amara, but the question is it good for the rest of Ravnica? Yes or no?
It's going to be probably the next step before we find out too much.
Yeah, I think Azorius, which is blue-white, they represent law and order. So when they show up in a few months, maybe we'll get this all figured out.
Maybe. That brings us to the final line. The balance of Ravnica is about to change, and change is good for us.
Right, so change is good for us, but the question is, who is us? Is that the Dimir?
Feeling like it might be the Dimir. We're getting the impression that they're the string pullers here right now, right?
Yeah, I think that like the Dimir has always been that secret guild acting behind closed doors. Maybe this is Dimir saying that now we're going to more openly influence the events of what are happening in Ravnica. But who knows? I mean, it really leaves a lot open there. I couldn't tell you for sure exactly what it means, but we know that Lazav and the Dimir are involved for sure.
I really enjoyed this trailer. This had like a lot more energy than the previous ones you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of representing each guild very well. Like we mentioned in our kind of breakdown here, like each time they showed a guild, they did a good job of using either a card or a 1 or 2 sentence sort of like statement to give you an idea of what that guild does. You watch this trailer, you understand that the Izzet love technology and Niv Mizzet's the head of it. You understand that Dimir are about secrets. You understand that Golgari care about death and life and trying to figure out some combination of the two. And you definitely can tell from like the big wolf they show you over there and talking about the land, you can see that Selesnya is about animals and nature. So they do a great job of getting that all out there in maybe a 1-minute trailer. It's pretty good use of storytelling to let people know what's happening in the world.
That brings us to the end of our Guilds of Ravnica trailer breakdown. REA, thank you once again for your guidance. We couldn't have done it without you.
My pleasure.
And if you've enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel down below, and you'll be seeing more of us in the future. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on Nights at the Game Table.